There are certain environments in your life that only want you to the extent of what they can gain from you. To celebrate that greatness, they want you for that greatness that they could take out of you, and when there's nothing left, because inevitably there will be nothing left if all you do is give, and you don't get anything in return. And so for a period of time, you were a source of all these beautiful things that they wanted, and because their investment wasn't in you as a person, it was in what they could get out of you, you're nothing to them anymore. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Najwa Zabian. I've always been a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they didn't break and to break what they had no right in breaking. And today's episode is coming straight from my heart, and the inspiration for it is a soul session that I recently had with someone. The whole message that I just wanted to hammer into her heart was, stop settling for crumbs. You deserve so much more. So this episode is a reminder for you of your worth. If you listen to me and my work, I already know that you are the type of person who puts yourself last. You are the type of person who wants to make sure that everyone around you is so comfortable, that everyone around you feels like you understand them, you get them, you're attuned to what they need, you're attuned to how they're feeling. You are a caring empath, and those are beautiful traits to have. But I also know that with that comes a heavy weight, a heavy burden that says, this is just the bare minimum that I can give people. This is the ticket that I pay as an entry fee into their life, is to just give all of myself, and none of it should be celebrated. I don't really need gratitude for it. I don't really need it to be seen and acknowledged. That's just who I am. And I understand that part of you is coming from a place of humility. You are a humble person. You don't look for people to say, oh, look at all the great things you're doing for the world around you. Look at all these amazing things you're doing for me, all the time you're taking out of your day to make my life easier or to show me appreciation. There is a part of you that thinks, believes is a better word, because beliefs are deeply ingrained within us. There's a part of you that genuinely believes that if you ever feel like, I've been doing all of this and none of it is being seen, that you're ungrateful, or that you're not humble, or that you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Sometimes people in our lives accuse us of having hidden intentions when we expect the work that we do for them to be seen and appreciated. And over time, when we listen to that message over and over and over again, and when we give it the time of day in our minds and our hearts and our souls, it becomes real. We genuinely believe over time that wanting our work, our effort, our time invested to be seen means that we are not humble, or it means that we are doing things for the purpose of being appreciated, for the purpose of being seen as someone who's good. So we would rather push that fundamental human need of ours to be seen and cared for as we are, just so that we don't get accused of being manipulative. We would rather push that human need of ours to be acknowledged, to hear the words thank you, to hear the words I appreciate you, just because we want to push away the accusation of you're manipulative, or you're doing all of this not because that's actually who you are, but because you want to be seen a certain way. What's wrong about wanting to be seen for the work that we do for others in our lives? What's wrong about that? What's wrong with our need to be acknowledged, to hear the words thank you, to hear the words I see how hard you're working and I really appreciate that? What's wrong about that? Why is it okay for us to want to be of service to the people around us, but it's not okay for us to want to be acknowledged for the service that we give to others? What's wrong with that? Why is it that there is a limit to what's okay? And that limit is the moment you ask to be acknowledged for what you're doing, you're a bad person. Why does that limit exist there, but not when this soul of yours says, I can really be of service to this person and I'm going to be? Why don't we put a limit there? It's because there are certain environments in your life that only want you to the extent of what they can gain from you. They don't want you for who you are. They don't want you for the greatness that's within you, just to celebrate that greatness. They want you for that greatness that they could take out of you. And when there's nothing left, because inevitably there will be nothing left if all you do is give, 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 and you don't get anything in return. When nothing's left, they'll say, I'm done with you. Because you are just a source of comfort for me. You are just a source of ease for me. You were just a source of service for me. You were just a source of love for me. You were just a source of safety for me. And now that you don't have any of those things to offer anymore, because it was like you're this beautiful land that has all sorts of crops and they harvested you over and over and over without giving you anything at all, without nourishing you, without giving you the fertilizer you need, without giving you the water you need, without putting you in environments where there's enough sunshine, without handling you properly. And so, yes, you get to a point where you have nothing left to give. And so for a period of time, you were a source of all these beautiful things that they wanted, and because their investment wasn't in you as a person, it was in what they could get out of you, you're nothing to them anymore. And I know it sounds narcissistic, but we're not just talking about narcissistic people. There are people in your life who use you and take advantage of you and manipulate you and get whatever they can out of you. It doesn't mean they're narcissists. They might have narcissistic tendencies, but the simple truth could be that they are users. They are manipulators. They only think of themselves. They're genuinely selfish in a very bad way, in a way that makes ends justify means. Like, I need all of these things from you because I'm so selfish. And I'm not going to think about you in the process. I'm not going to think about the depletion that's happening to you as a result of all the hard work you're putting into me and into this relationship, this friendship, this acquaintance of any sort. I'm just going to think of what I'm getting out of you. And so the means of manipulation, the means of gaslighting you, the means of minimizing everything that you're doing justify the ends, which are, I get what I want out of you. There are people like that in your everyday life. And just because you don't want to be the person who accuses someone of being something as bad as a narcissist, it doesn't mean you can't say, you're treating me the wrong way. It doesn't mean you can't say, you're using me. It doesn't mean you can't say, you're taking advantage of me. It doesn't mean you can't say you're not appreciating everything that I do for you. A person doesn't have to be an absolutely terrible person for you to set boundaries, for you to say, this is not good. And the messed up part is that You feel bad for seeing someone for who they are, when who they are is a bad person, or a person with bad character, or a person who has shown you through their treatment of you that they don't have a moral compass, that they don't have values, that they don't consider you. You feel bad for making the accusation that you're not treating me right. There's something about your character and about your belief system, about how you should treat the people around you that's really broken and really flawed. You feel bad for saying that to someone. Even if you don't say it out loud, you feel bad for accusing them in your heart. But remember, discernment listens to what your intuition is saying and decides to see someone clearly for who they are, and decides to take off the rose-colored glasses and say, I know that it's within my nature to see the best in people. I know it's within my nature to assume good intentions even when the actions aren't good. I know that it's within my nature to not see the bad in others, even when the bad is staring me straight in the face. I know it's within my nature to not assume that someone intentionally treated me badly, even when they actually treated me badly. But discernment tells me they did just treat you badly, though. They did just show you really flawed parts of their character. They did just show you really bad intentions on their part. They did just do the horrible thing that you never thought they would do. So let's take off the rose-colored glasses that say, I'm not someone who paints somebody else in a bad light, and say, it's not that I'm painting you in a bad light. That's what you painted yourself with. I am just seeing you clearly. I'm seeing you for who you are. I'm seeing your actions as they are, and I'm accepting them. I'm not accepting them in a way that says they're okay. I'm accepting them in a way that says, wow, that is the truth. That just happened. You did just say that. And I'm no longer allowing my overriding need to be a good person who sees everybody as a good person to cloud my vision and continue to put me in an environment with you where all you do is feed me toxicity, where all you do is take whatever you can from me, where all you do is use my goodness against me. Discernment says, calm down, feel your emotions, don't numb them just because you don't want to go through the discomfort of seeing people for who they are, because if you see them for who they are, then you're going to have to do something about it. Feel your emotions. Feel everything you need to feel to make the decision you need to make. That's what discernment tells you. Discernment doesn't come as this loud, chaotic pull to make the right decisions for yourself. Discernment comes with that calm energy that tells you, you know everything you need to know. Stop looking for evidence of what you already know. Stop saying, I'll just watch out for the next thing they do. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. The next bad thing they do, that's when I'm going to speak up. That's when I'm going to do something about it. And I'm not saying stop saying those things as a way to shame you. I'm saying it to wake you up. The next time you catch yourself giving someone the benefit of the doubt after 100 times of giving them the benefit of the doubt and them proving to you that they knew exactly what they were doing, catch yourself and say, I have given them the benefit of the doubt 100 times, 1,000 times, 10 times. And every single time, I arrive at the same destination. It's like that song by, we've mentioned this one before, but that's okay. It's like that song by Bon Iver and Taylor Swift where they say, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. It's the same thing. Every single time they do something that you know deep in your soul, they're using me, they're taking advantage, they are manipulating me in some way. You know it, like deep in your soul, you know it. But you tell yourself, maybe it's different this time. Maybe they're going through a hard time. Maybe they really need this thing. Maybe this, maybe that. We stop that. The definition of radical acceptance is to see something as it is. Radical acceptance means that you see something for what it actually is. You stop looking away from it. Remember in a previous episode where I talked to you about times when I would be talking to my therapist and I would say, I can't believe she did that. I can't believe she said that. And my therapist stopped me and said, stop looking away. You're looking away because you don't want to see the reality that's in front of you. You don't want to accept it, as in you don't want to make peace with it. You are who you are. You did what you did. You said what you said. I'm not going to look away and say, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you said that. Wow, you did do that. You did say that. Accepting it doesn't mean I'm okay with it. It doesn't mean it's okay, as in it's forgivable or it's something that I can get over. That's not what it means. Radical acceptance means I see reality for what it is. And even though I would have wanted it to be different, I'm at peace with the fact that that is what it is. The best way for me to describe to you radical acceptance and the way it feels in your body is this. When you think back to that thing that really hurt you, the time someone backstabbed you, the time they cheated on you, the time they walked away from you, the really hurtful thing that you're having a hard time accepting. Once you've reached radical acceptance, you can think back to it without the questions of, but why and how? And you start hoping that things could have been different. It's kind of like a form of peace feels like it's being poured into you when you think back to it, that doesn't attach what they did to a message about yourself that says you deserved that, or something about you made it so that it was easy for them to do it and therefore you did deserve it. Radical acceptance feels like peace. Yes, I might feel a little bit of pain when I'm reminded of what you did to me and how you hurt me, but there isn't something inside of me that's trying to fight for that reality to be different. I talk a lot about radical acceptance in chapter 3 of The Only Constant, and it's the very first point in that chapter. There's 5 of them. There's 5 ways that you can deal with things that you really don't want to accept in your life, and that's the first one I talk about. Because for the longest time, I struggled radically accepting not just things that happened in my life, but radically accepting people in my life as they are. I had to, for my own sanity, look at people not just with rose-colored glasses, but foggy glasses and multiple layers of I'm taking away this bad thing they said, and I'm taking away this thing I saw them do, and I'm taking away this thing that I know they believe because they told me. I'm taking away all of that because for me to survive with them, for me to survive in their presence, I couldn't see them for who they are. Because if I did, the activist within me, the good person within me, the person who needs things to be done the right way and who holds people accountable, all those parts would want to come up to the surface and say, how could you do that? That's wrong. How could you say that? How could you live that way? And those things weren't safe for me to say. Why? Because of the backlash I would get, because of the reaction I would get. So sometimes for you to survive in the presence of people, you are not just surviving the environment, you are surviving them. And the version of you that can survive them is a very, very diluted, very blocked off version of yourself. And I've given you this analogy before, but if you can imagine your whole body glowing, and then imagine walking into an environment where you have to survive. If your body's glowing, it means that every single part of you is shining. You're showing all the good, all the bad. You're authentic. You're living through your truth. You're letting every part of you shine through. And if you walk into an environment and you feel like you have to dim your light in so many areas, you have to pretend like certain things don't get to you. You have to pretend like certain comments don't really hurt you as much as they do. You have to pretend like certain beliefs and belief systems don't really get to you at your core in order to survive that environment. You are blocking parts of yourself off just to survive. And if you're thinking, well, sometimes you have to be smart and not let everybody see your whole self. Sometimes you have to walk into places with your armor on and say, that thing, when they say it, it's not going to get to me. Or when they say it, I'm not going to take it personally because I know where they're coming from. We've done this a million times. I'm not going to give them access enough to hurt me. I understand that part. But here's my question to you. How long are you willing to put yourself in environments where the only way for you to survive is to put your armor on? Isn't that exhausting? Sometimes you have to be smart and you have to be wise enough to know what to react to and what not to react to know what to respond to and what not to respond to. But that shouldn't be a permanent fix for certain people. Sometimes the permanent fix is to no longer enter those environments with those people. Remember that you deserve a lot more than constantly having to armor up. You deserve a lot more than constantly having to filter yourself and constantly having to check the way you speak and your tone and how loud am I speaking? How calm am I? How calm is my demeanor? You deserve a lot more than that. You deserve a lot more than putting yourself with people who make you believe that you're a safe option for them because they know that you'll always be there, because they know that you're a good person who gives people chances, because they know that you're a person who sees the best in people. They know that they could leave for as long as they want, physically or emotionally. And when they come back to you, you will be there with open arms. You deserve more than feeling like you are somebody's safe option in a way that's humiliating for you. Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try whatever I want, and I know you'll be there waiting for me. You deserve a lot more than that. Like, that's nothing compared to what you actually deserve. We're talking about you settling for a little drop of water when you deserve the whole ocean. And I know there's a part of you that's been aching for so long because you've been accepting so much less than what you know you deserve. And there's a part of you that says, I'm stuck being this way. I've been this way for 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years, for 50 years. How on earth am I going to change the part of me that says, you only deserve this much? Like, even if I know it, how do I actually do it without feeling like I'm asking for way too much. It begins with a choice. It begins with you saying, just because I've accepted this much, this little for so many years, it doesn't mean that I can't wake up tomorrow morning and say, that ends now. Because I've known for so long that I deserve so much more, today is the day that I start living by that knowledge. And I understand it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be so hard for me to tell that person, you don't get to come back into my life every single time that things don't work out with other people. You don't get to leave me confused, and then when you feel like I'm moving on a little bit or that I'm checking out a little bit, you can just swoop in and you're going to win me over. I understand that when I say those things, when I start setting certain boundaries, when I start drawing certain red lines, it's going to be uncomfortable. Why? Because I'm not used to it. But just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not the right thing for you. Sometimes the most uncomfortable things in your body are the best things for you. The first time you stand up and say, I'm not okay with this. And I'm not just talking about physically standing up. I'm talking about your heart standing up for you. I'm talking about your integrity making a statement and saying, I'm not okay with that. It's gonna feel like every single past version of you that sat down and took the bad treatment and took the toxicity and stayed quiet. They're all pulling you back and saying, what are you doing? We can't stand up this time. We've been sitting down every single time. We've been staying quiet every single time. Your voice is going to feel like I don't know if I can speak. It's going to be scratchy. It's going to feel like, let me think 100 times before I say something. You're going to feel that. Doesn't mean you can't do the thing that you want to do. You can't say the thing that you want to say. You can't stand up for yourself. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It's telling you that that's what it means, but that's not the truth. It's kind of like the moment when the anticipation of going up a roller coaster and you're so scared of the way down. You're so scared of that moment when you're no longer going slowly and you're no longer just stopped. And now all of a sudden you're actually going to go all the way down. It's like that moment where the fear is so huge that there's a part of you that's like, I wouldn't mind being airlifted from this position right now just so that I don't have to go through that feeling of beginning to go down. But then you go down and you're like, well, that wasn't so bad. I'm glad it's over. It's the same thing with changing the way you expect people to treat you. It's time for words from me to you. This is from The Only Constant, Chapter 3, Changes We Don't Choose. And I'm just going to read to you the formula that I have for radical acceptance. You can write this down somewhere. If you have the book, highlight it in it. And every single time that you feel yourself really bargaining with someone, with their character, or with something that they did to you, you can read these things out loud. I acknowledge that I want this reality to be different. I acknowledge that it's not different. I accept this reality is what it is. I choose to not allow what I cannot control to control me. Okay? This is all you need to practice the process of getting to a place where your goal isn't to change what happened to you, and it's not to change the people in your life. It's to remember who you are and to remember how different you are from what they did to you and how different you are from who they are. It's time for Words That Found Me. These words are by Rania Naim. I think that's how you say her name because it sounds like an Arabic name. And she says, "You deserve to remember how it feels to be loved. You deserve to be with someone who makes you forget about every ignored message, every unanswered call, and every person who couldn't love you." It's simple. You know what you deserve. You know your worth. And the parts of you that are scared to finally demand that from the people in your life are so valid. And all they need from you is assurance that should you have the courage to demand that love from others in your life, and they decide that they're going to see you differently in a bad way or that they're going to walk away, is that you will be there and you will help them survive that fear that if I express what I need, people are going to walk away. That's it. Remember who you are and remember what you deserve. I hope this episode reminded you of what you deserve in a very loud but calm way, in a way that just stayed with you. And if it did, please share it with someone who needs to be reminded, or someone who you need to remind, this is what I deserve. I hope this episode helped you find healing beyond words. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Couldn't clap this time, Mila.